Welcome into our Week 13 winter debut edition of Sports Den on North Metro TV. Happy holidays, everyone. I'm Mary Rominger alongside Matt Dean. And Matt, the winter high school sports season is young, but area teams are already proving to be state champion contenders.
Yeah, excited. We only got 2 more shows the rest of the year. We're fully into winter sports now in the season. Already seeing a lot of fun rivalry matchups we're going to be talking about today, and getting into hockey, basketball, and a little bit of wrestling and some of the other auxiliary sports as well too on this episode now that we're into the winter.
Yes, I can't wait.
Looking forward to it. We're going to have 3 cat clashes between Blaine and Centennial to talk about today. We're going to start on the boys hockey side. Blaine taking on Centennial. The Cougars and Blaine matching up for the first time this season. It was the Centennial who had come in unbeaten in the last 5 meetings. Early shot from the point, first period. Hayden Frank has his shot tipped in front from Brock Carls. Later on, 2 goals, 8 seconds apart, both from Peyton Blair, that one being the second that he took off the faceoff after scoring the first. Still first period, Cougars now up 4-0, and Caleb Crinky, the nice pass from the corner to set up Harper Searles, his 3rd of the year, to put the Cougars up. Still not finished in the first period. We go on to the second, and it was Blair hunting for more, dropped it off for Searles, a nice save that time from Zane Spaniel. Spaniel that time with a paddle save, tried to tip it around the back. And how about a goal off the back from Alex Clampett, the first of his varsity career for Centennial. Now 8-0 Cougars. They would make it 9-0, and a shot from the point by Crinky. Centennial polishes off a dominating shutout, 9-0, the final score in this one, courtesy of the Cougars. You see the shot totals there, the game flow heavily favoring Centennial. First matchup of the year after the Cougars won one and tied the other last season. And Centennial in this rivalry matchup, they're now the number 20 ranked team in the state, and they're unbeaten in their last 6, 5 wins and a tie against the Bengals. Look ahead at some of the upcoming schedules in boys hockey for our 3 North Metro schools. Opportunity to play some really good teams, as is often the case this time of year, Mary, around the holiday tournament. Blaine are going to be at Rogers, a team ranked in the top 15. Hudson, good program from Wisconsin, coming up. Looking at that Bengal calendar there to the left.
It's a good time to schedule those tougher matchups because you get the week-long break before the second half of the season.
Yeah, big one coming up against Maple Grove, too, who are number 5 in the state right now for Centennial, that they'll have a chance to take on before the end of the year when we start to have some of those marquee rivalry matchups when we come back in January.
All right, well, now for some girls hockey action. They're a little bit deeper into their schedules. The 8th ranked Centennial Spring Lake Park Cougars are at Anoka on a 5-game win streak in response to their season opening loss to Maple Grove. Opening frame, CSLP sophomore Tegan Colenkamp backhanded pass to Kaylee Cody in front, but Anoka's Annika Olsen makes the save. Cougars freshman Katie Bell scored soon after. Now with the 1-0 advantage, Noelle Hermer goes top shelf on the breakaway. CSLP carries a 2-0 lead into the 3rd period. Cougars on the odd man rush, several chances in front. Finally, Ella O'Hearn finds the back of the net off of the 3rd attempt. Centennial Spring Lake Park hasn't surrendered more than 2 goals in a game so far this season, thanks in large part to junior netminder Caitlin Gross, who owns a .959 save percentage, as well as this team's high-powered offense. The Cougars win 5-0. Gross had 15 saves in the shutout, and on the other side, Centennial put up 54 shots on goal, out shooting Anoka 54-15 and scoring twice in the 3rd period, 3 more times, in the 1st period, 3 more times in the 3rd. Hermer with 2 goals in the shutout effort over Anoka.
Yeah, it's a huge game for goaltending. I mean, Gross not asked to do a ton, but huge confidence builder for her. Her first shutout of the season after winning 15 games as a sophomore last year. And just really good. I think she's going to be a huge X factor for Centennial SLP moving forward. Looking good so far. And next up, CSLP faces 5-4 Champlain Park Coon Rapids, 2-5 Wayzata, and then the state-ranked Rogers team
before they're off for the holiday break. Rogers is 4-3, so that'll be a tough one.
Yeah, Gentry Academy, too, just jumping out off the page is one of the games to look ahead to in the schedule. We talked about in the boys' calendar how the holiday tournaments sometimes let you face some of those elite teams. It simulates a little bit of the state tournament experience, too. You get to go back-to-back. Blake's a pretty strong squad, so for Centennial to get to kind of test their depth, Centennial SLP to face Blake and then Gentry Academy back-to-back and have those 3 games in 3 days gets you set for the postseason time.
A really good marker, and you saw that 11:30 a.m. start. The state tournament time, when state tournament time comes, all of the start times are all over the place, so another good test for the team early on.
We've got some great girls and boys high school hockey in the state and on this side of town here in North Metro TV, but always one of the favorites of this show and certainly in the state of Minnesota. How about girls basketball talent? As we'll take you through some highlights of a couple of terrific North Metro TV schools. Starting with Anoka, traveling at Spring Lake Park here in a matchup at a Northwest Suburban Conference. It is Anoka with the Panther girls taking part in their second game of the year. 8-8 game early first. Tornado junior Evan Apinga with the runner 0 to 100 really quick. And then a 3 on the other side answering back. That's Brianna Nussbaum with a post touch to get it to Olivia Kesty from 3. 15-10 Anoka later on. They splash in a 3, does the Tornadoes. And then it's Epping in transition, an easy bucket. She would finish with 20. Apinga would for the Tornadoes. Cameron Smith here in the next play for Spring Lake Park, feeding it inside. And yeah, beautiful play to finish it off with Frecking dancing in the lane. Here's Lydia Lackinen. Splashes from 3. This is Cameron Smith hitting the 3. Nothing but net here for SLP. Frecking with the nice turn, dancing in the lane, drops it through, and Tornadoes getting it done in transition as well, too. Lydia Lackinen is initially blocked with a rejection from Thomas, but follows her own miss and puts it back for the Tornadoes. Anoka runs out to a 42-27 halftime lead, and the Tornadoes cruise to a 15-point victory in this one. Evan Epping, a junior guard at the career-high 20 points. Madeline Frecking was really good. The 2 top players for Anoka combining for 52 of the 75 for Anoka. SLP gets a nice performance out of Bella Such and Brianna Nussbaum, who scored in double figures in each of the Panthers' first 2 games this year. Big differentiating factor, the 3-ball. Tornadoes 11 of 24 from deep, where SLP in this one well dried up a little bit. They were just 4 of 24 from beyond the arc in this one.
A really strong head-to-head matchup. Well, over at Blaine High School, the 14th ranked Bengals girls basketball team hosts Elk River. Blaine off to a 3-0 start to the season entering this matchup. The Elks are 2-1. We dropped into the first half. Bengals disrupt the passing lane. Quick transition. Annika Schulman knocks down the corner 3. Schulman finished with 9 points. Elk River fires right back. McKaylin Hiddy rattles in the triple from the corner pocket. Later, Elks with nice ball movement, passing the paint to Corley White, and she scores off the glass. Bengals trailing 22-11 until Sophie Tident sinks the 3 from long range. Blaine down 8. Fast forward to the second half. Inbounds pass. Elks. Kayla Christie wide open layup. Christie led the floor with 15 points. Bengals trying to rally from behind. Schulman again sinks another corner 3. Then Marina Lafreniere stands tall for the mid-range J. Lafreniere led the Bengals with 10 points. But from there, Elk River kept the pressure, defeating Blaine 56-40. And the Bengals scoring was dispersed despite the loss throughout the floor, but the Elks just had that edge, and Christie and DeMar getting over 10 points was just that slight edge that Elk River needed in a Blaine team that had been previously undefeated to start the season. Now coming up, 0-5 Totino Grace on deck for the Bengals. Then Robbinsdale Armstrong, who is 2-2, and Buffalo, who's 1-3 at this point before the holiday break.
Yeah, Centennial's starting to get into the meat as well as some Northwest Suburban Conference play coming up, as they'll be on a 2-game road swing Rogers and Osseo, both in the conference coming up. White Bear Lake, always a tough opponent, as they'll be back at home next on the 20th. Coming up for the Cougars. And Spring Lake Park, really good Maple Grove team that they'll have a test against at home. Gopher commit Kennedy Click leading a starting five that's got a handful of Division I players. So 6th-ranked team in the state in the preseason are coming to town next for the Panthers in what is a tough schedule for them as well.
Some good stuff so far. Well, Matt, you mentioned several Cat Clash matchups in this sports den, and next we head to the high school gymnastics scene where Centennial and Blaine square off. A local rivalry always is exciting. It's Blaine Andover, taking the stage at Jam Hops, and it's a head-to-head battle, you could say, between Amelia Gannon and Sophia Larson. Here's Gannon on the vault. This is where we start. She sticks her landing, and she'd earned an 8.8 in the event. Second to Sophia Larson. Larson able to add a lot to her dismount, and she executes it very well. Larson scored a 9.275 to earn the top finish in the event. Over on uneven bars, more from Blaine Andover all-arounder Larson. Sophia Larson having a very strong day as she sets herself up for the dismount, able to get a lot of power that not a lot of high school gymnasts, especially at this level, can achieve. And she earned herself an 8.825 on the bar. So 2 top finishes so far through the first 2 events for Blaine Andover's Larson. On beam, it's Jenna Sismo of Centennial. Nearly sticks the landing, an 8.425 for Sismo, and the top finish on beam. Over on floor, Gannon has great energy and a very fun floor routine, and she finished with an 8.525. This one was very close between Gannon and Larson, but Larson comes in with the top finish. She earns an 8.85. Larson, a really talented gymnast for this area. And as I said before, just able to add a lot of additional moves and steps to her routine. And again, she earns the 8.85 on floor. She wins the all-around with a 35.150. Congratulations to Larson in this heated matchup. You could say Centennial placed first the team with a 127, Blaine 119.8.
My full, because I think it looks the cleanest out of all of them.
And how do you stay focused after a fall or stumble?
I remind myself to get back up and keep on going.
And what move were you most proud of today?
My vault.
And what is your goal for this season?
To go to state.
Larson, a girl of few words. Again, Centennial wins this head-to-head matchup with Blaine with scoring 127 team points, Blaine 119.8. And how about that, Matt? The one goal this year to go to state. Couldn't have said it better myself.
They were short answers, but she went right to them. So she was very confident in her answer, so you got to respect that. Two athletes, Larson and Gannon, going head-to-head. It was neck and neck between Blaine and Centennial. If you're scoring along at home, we got one more Cat Clash to get to. Also on the mat, but in the high school wrestling realm, where we will go next year to wrap things up on the Sports Den. So again, Blaine and Centennial facing off in, once again, another great head-to-head matchup, this time in the high school wrestling scene. We'll take you to it. It is the first head-to-head matchup of any kind in a wrestling duel this year between Blaine and Centennial. A couple of rivals. We start in the 106s. It was 4-2 for Blaine's Pierce Weigleitner. He started to open this one up late in the third. Match was tight until Ryan Hansen started to press a little bit. Ends as a major decision in the 106s to Blaine. It would be a lot of Bengals early in the lower weight classes. Logan Fu would strike first in the first with a takedown, but a 5-5 tie was broken late second as Max Brady would get the full near fall points in at the end of the second. He would walk away with a 13-5 major decision by the end of it to breeze to the victory in the third for that one. Go on where it was Blaine taking the first 5 matches. The big boys started bruising for Centennial, and they would start to come back in this one. Elijah Harris would go on to take down Hagestead to go up 4-1 in the second. It would come down to the 220s, where it would end up being a pin and a huge 6 points for Marcus Whiting to go on top and put the Cougars on top for good in the second to last event of the night.
Here alongside me is Marcus Whiting after the Cougars just defeated the Bengals. Awesome job, Marcus. Glad you're here talking with us. But the first thing that I want to talk to you about is your matchup in particular solidified this victory. What did that mean for you to be able to help your team?
I mean, it meant a lot to help my team. I knew who I was going to wrestle coming into this. I was running it through my head since last week. I've been ready for this, and I knew I just had to go out there and do my job.
So you didn't just win, you got a pin in the first period. How much energy was just flowing through your body to get that to happen so quickly?
It's probably one of the more exciting things I've done in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you think about just the matchup in particular today, coming to play the Bengals, what does that mean to you to play kind of that close rival that you guys have?
I mean, it's been a rivalry since elementary school, football, baseball, wrestling, everything. So it means a lot to come out to beat them again.
Yeah, you touched on it a little bit. You play football, you're also here wrestling. What is that like getting to be coached by Coach Stefan here in both sports?
I mean, so he coaches football and baseball, so being able to talk to him, build a relationship with him through both those sports is amazing, of course. And during wrestling, he just flips a switch and he's more intense than ever.
So this meet in particular, it was back and forth. The Bengals got out to that early lead. How confident were you and your teammates that you were going to be able to get back into this?
We're a little young down low. We knew that they had some tough guys down low too, so we told them they had to fight their butts off the whole time. They did that. We knew we had hammers up top to finish it too.
Well, the gym brought the energy. You could feel it. There's some of these guys behind us. You felt the fan energy. Were you able to build on that intensity in your performance?
Yeah, of course. It makes a big difference having these studs back here leading the crowd, and then just everyone else showing up. It meant a lot.
Well, congrats. Definitely a awesome experience to watch you do that, because like you said, it was one of those moments that I don't think you'll ever forget. So great job helping your team today.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, great stuff from Marcus Whiting there, who you heard about it, multi-talented, multi-sport athlete. And the big guys always get to have the fun, right? Because when it comes down to the dual head-to-head meet, it always ends up coming down to the 220s or the heavyweights. So I'm just saying, every once in a while, just flip it around and have like the 106 kids get to decide the meet a little bit. So, but Marcus Whiting, great athlete, great performance. He deservedly gets the glory in that one for Centennial. And nothing better than 2 rivals going head-to-head on the mat.
Yeah, and I mean, we've already talked about it, but to win by pin in that fashion, coming up really clutch, and that was a fun one, and a very entertaining interview with his teammates awarding him the belt. Good energy.
Yeah, somehow some Oakland Raider fans snuck into the Centennial Gym the other night too. But we've still got one more great show to bring you before the new year wraps up. It's red and green behind us. Maybe we'll get a little bit more festive next week to go with it too. This isn't exactly Christmas wear or holiday affair right now. But back for episode number 14 of the Sports Den next week on North Metro TV.
We'll see you then.